Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Oakfield Farm. Today we're going to be doing some windrowing. As you can see here, I've got the windrow attached. Do have my track hat on. It's an actual hat, which is so small that it doesn't actually fit me properly. I can't clasp it, so I'm hoping it stays where it's supposed to. We are going to be using this, and we're going to be doing some windrowing. We'll be windrowing up to that field there, field 15 I believe it is. And I'm going to do it all in cab. 100% in cab. This isn't going to end well, is it? I have updated my MR, so maybe it handles hills a bit better now. I don't know. I think Oxygendavid might have a custom file in here. Ooh, he might. That doesn't seem like it's slowing down as much as it used to. We are driving the T6 today. Quite like the T6. I left the mower in there. I'm just going to be lazy and reset the mower. Let's crawl into the field nice and slowly so that I don't hit anything, so that I can line up as well. We'll line up to the right here. Get this unfolding. Can I unfold this fully without it smacking the gate? Yes! Yes, I can. So without further ado, let's get windrowing. I've had a lot of people asking me to do in-cab stuff, so you got a full video to yourselves today. This might annoy people. I was going to get a big windrower, but I had a look in the shop, and there is nothing that would make sense other than this, the two-rotor one. This is going to be quite a lot of grass. I'm going to be using a fire truck, and I have one picked up. It's at the shop. If I need it, I'll reset it back to the yard. Get it delivered if you want to roleplay it, I guess. Because it just makes more sense to reset it than to drive the entire length of the map down to the shop and then faff about trying to get it and all that kind of stuff. And it's just easier. Makes the video flow better, I think. Well, the joy of MR is that it is actually really easy to windrow. Even in cab, I mean, all you gotta do is remember where the, especially when you got grass swaths like this, just look at where the swaths are and kind of follow them roughly. As the tractor behaves in a realistic manner, and, Joe, this field is probably one I could bail, just looking at the hills. I probably bailed the wrong field. Oh well. Life learns lessons. Or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You can see this is a bit jittery. I'm not quite happy with how I've got this thing calibrated just yet. It will be probably a couple of weeks until I've figured out the calibration and curves, because it is a bit jittery still. Because instead of being on the side of my face, I might have to actually reinstall the software. Like, here's the thing, I might have to reinstall the software entirely because I'm no longer using the clip, I'm using the hat itself, and I think it calibrates differently to the clip. So I might uninstall the OpenTrack software later tonight, reinstall it and try and calibrate it up nicely. But you can see that it is providing nice, smooth-ish in-cab views for you guys. Behaving in a realistic manner. We can look at the steering wheel. We can go forwards and down-ish. I think something isn't working quite right. But I do have this mostly where I'm happy with it. I'm going to have to avoid this tree. This is going to be a bit of a wonky windrow as I desperately try not to hit the tree. I missed the tree. I've done well. I am pleased with myself. I have to try and avoid, well, I'm going to have to avoid that tree next time around, which means that I'll be missing a bit intentionally so as to not hit the tree. 20 kilometers an hour downhill, that's a bit fast. Let's just lay on the brakes a bit. Not much. That was literally just touching the brake pedal. I'm actually going to get my left foot ready to brake, so I'm going to hold it on the clutch. Or just sit it on the clutch so that if I need to brake again next time around, I'll just be able to left foot brake. And have a bit more authority, because I'm more used to left foot braking than I am right foot braking. This is going to come together quite nicely. I don't know if we'll get all the windrowing done today, but it's going to come together quite nicely into a field that's ready for silage, and we are going to just use a forage wagon. Like I said, I would do like silage with a silage harvester, probably the lily, but I don't think we have enough grass on the map yet to warrant the lily. I'll be honest. I think if we had enough grass on the map where the 4-rotor windrower was something that would be a good idea to use, then I'd probably use the lily. Until then, we're going to use the 2-rotor windrower and the forage wagon, because it makes life easier for me. So how's that corner look? That corner looks okay. Just kind of making sure we don't miss too much grass as we're going around. It's been a while since I've used head tracking in Farm Sim. I forgot how fun it is. Just makes it kind of brings the immersion up as well, because you do have to look around and, you know, figure out where you're trying to look and think about what you want to look at and what you'd look at in reality, I guess. So in reality, you will want to be making sure that your windrower is picking up as much material as possible. I know that I'm going to intentionally like miss a small bit here just to straighten this out a bit. But you know, I feel like I'm looking at stuff with head tracking on that I would be looking at in reality. Is that going to hit the tree? It's not going to hit the tree. Like where the edge of the windrower is, which it's actually a bit to the left of where I wanted it to be. Honestly, like, if you've got some sort of head tracking software available to you, and I would recommend TrackAt and OpenTrack, just because it's the cheapest available. Do you know what? It makes the game a lot easier in a way, and a lot more challenging in other ways, because you're now, instead of having to, you know, move the mouse around, you're suddenly having to move your entire head. So instead of a little move of the wrist, which I've usually got my mouse set up so it's super sensitive, so it's just like little movements, big results. Personal preference there. Somebody's going to make an off-color joke about that. I guess I just did. But it makes the game easier. It really does, and I know some people get annoyed by head tracking and they say, oh, it's completely pointless in the game. I disagree. I really enjoy it. I think that being honest, head tracking improves Farm Sim. Tobii eye tracking, not so much. I've spoken to 1 or 2 people who do have Tobii eye tracking, and it just seems completely and utterly pointless. Because, like, look at this. I know that I'm okay out of, you know, in third person with the wheel, because I kind of get used to it, but I'm so much more comfortable in first person using head tracking with the wheel. It's so much more immersive. This is going to be a really awkward corner, isn't it? Windrow's going to hit the tree. Windrow's going to hit the tree. Did not. It's just nudging the tree. That's Do you know, I'll call that fine. I'm going to have fun getting around there with the forage wagon, but I'm going to call that fine. Maybe... I'm kind of tempted to cut down that tree, but I think this is the oak field that gives the farm its name. So maybe not the best idea. The pigs do need cleaning out. I do need to get a bucket for the skid steer and a transportation or a low loader for the skid steer as well, so that I can transport it over to the pigs and kind of leave it there, I guess. There's not much of a reason for it to be at the main yard. I think it's probably better suited to dealing with the pigs on a kind of a... I know I said I wouldn't do this, but dealing with the pigs on a more full-time basis. Because I can grab a couple of extra pieces of equipment for it and just kind of dump it all over the pigs. Is 2 headlands going to be enough? I'm going to say yes, because it is quite a wide headland. Do I want to do a third? Even so... 2 should be good. 2 should be enough to get away with it, at least. The reason I'm turning the windrow off completely is because it does have a habit, and this is something that irks me about Farm Sim. It does have a habit of picking up grass at random and just throwing it in a random direction. Especially when you're running over previous swaths, so... unfortunately, I do have to do that and kind of be a bit silly with it. It's just one of those things that I've got to do to appease the game, I guess. Before anybody starts screaming, unrealistic! Yeah, I know, but it's the way that the game wants it to work. And Giants claim it's realistic that it just kicks grass out. No, I've literally never seen that happen in any of the videos I've seen of people windrowing where they just lift up the rotors. Is that... Have I been going way too tight in on the previous windrow? I'm bloomin' avian. Kind of, but not really. Okay, I think if I just leave that wheel in the gap there, we should be, yeah, more or less good. And I'm going to have to be aware that the windrow up here is going to be wonky. But I gotta say, especially for silage, this looks... I don't know if I just tilt in like this a small bit. It's probably the best I'll be able to do here. Especially for silage, the grass textures look really legit. Like with the yellowy green ground, and then the nice green grass sitting on top of it. This is really legit for silage work, for grass silage specifically. And I know that I don't live on a farm. I know that. I know that I openly say it. But I live in Ireland. Grass silage is kind of our thing. And having seen plenty of fields prepared for grass silage and finished with grass silage, I can tell you this is the right colours for grass silage. I do need to... I keep forgetting. I do need to change the swath textures to be Bullet Bill's swath textures for West Coast, because I think they'd fit so much better. The Giants' default grass and straw just look bad. I'll be honest. They're not very impressive textures at all. I know Giants have to kind of make them fit with the rest of the game, and they do. You know, I'm not trying to claim they don't, but they don't look nice at the same time. They're not visually appealing. So I guess deal with it. I'm changing textures. Let's just get that there like that. Perfect. Spin around. This is really looking good already. And I'm barely started. I haven't even derped that much on camera. Full disclosure, before I even started recording, I accidentally detached the pallet fork off the front of this thing while I was trying to detach the cultivator off the back. Because I didn't have the hood up and I didn't know what I was trying to detach. So, you know, this hasn't gone completely smoothly. This hasn't been one of... You know, this is... I'm not perfect in any way, shape, or form. I'm gonna make stupid mistakes. But the end result of this is a very pretty looking field already. And it does look like we won't get anywhere near finished with the windrowing today, unfortunately. Or fortunately, if you really like windrowing, because you're going to get a windrowing stream. Probably tomorrow, what day is today? This video going on Wednesday. Probably yesterday's stream will have been windrowing, or today's stream will be finishing up the windrowing. Or I might do it off camera, because I do want to get some grass silage done. I do want to try and get cows reasonably quickly, and of course I will need more equipment for the cows, including a feed mixer, which I've already decided which one I want. So it's not negotiable. I'm not going to be asking for suggestions. I do also want to get some of the Cobra series recorded as well this week. Possibly as a bonus video or something to go up on the weekend. I think I'm in a position with that map where I can move on to the next stage of videos, and I'll need to double check my equipment and just make sure that I've got what I actually want, and set it all up and park it all up, because that is going to be something that is going to be a long-term project, well, medium-ish term project, I want to say. There's no guarantees it's going to be like on the channel until FS 19, but it's going to be something that I'm playing about with and kind of experimenting with and having a bit of fun with. Just doing something completely different from what I normally do. I know that I play mostly realistically, but I don't even bother trying for all-out realism, because I know I can't do it very well. That series I am trying, and there's some other stuff that I haven't kind of fully said in videos yet, but if you look at the playlist at the end of the video, you'll notice something about the name of it, because that series is going to be a roleplay. I don't know if the characters will appear, the usual characters at least, but it is going to be a roleplay. It's not going to be as silly as the normal one, so which is why I'm saying the characters might not appear. You might not get Quentin, you might not get Sergey, but I might introduce some hired workers with names at least, not voices. It's going to be a one-man show. It's just going to be me, no voices, just... Well, maybe voices, but over radio, because I can faff about with Audacity then. And it's basically going to be a series where I experiment with different styles and different ways to do things. Because I kind of like the... I like some of the ideas that I've got for it. I just want to see how they work. And I know that that series probably isn't going to be the most popular thing in the world, because, you know, it's on Cobra and people don't really care about Cobra videos anymore. But I think it's going to be interesting to see, just for me personally, which is part of the reason I'm doing it, to experiment. And I might move the series to a different map if it's going well, and if I feel like my experiments are going well, I might move it to a different map. So there may be more people who watch it. But I do encourage you to watch the Cobra series when it does come out fully. It's not going to be a frequent thing, it's going to be kind of completely at random. There'll be a video up. Probably, like, most likely as a bonus video, because there's going to be a series that's primarily done off camera with courseplay and silly machinery, and then when I go for the realism, it's going to be this more serious stuff, because honestly off camera stuff usually ends up with me driving something ridiculous and doing stuff that is just insanely unrealistic. You've seen kind of touches of it during the streams when I bring the big bot out to do stupid things. But like off-camera work is usually me using stuff that's way too big for what it actually needs to do, especially with MR. Just because it's what fits, I guess. The camera has miscentered. Yeah, it's usually what kind of fits the job that I need to do, and as long as it fits in the field, I don't really care. I just don't like using the ridiculously huge stuff and the cheaty stuff on camera because it makes me look bad, I think. I don't like, you know, I'll use it off camera just for ease, but I actually genuinely enjoy playing the game properly when I'm recording or streaming. It's just the off camera stuff is a bit of a way for me to, I guess, chill out and not worry about what people think of how I play. Because I really do worry, like, oh, what'll people think if I use this machine? Because, well, normal viewers and people who've been around for a while know that I like using silly stuff. People who are new and who maybe have come from Daggerwin or Simulate, I'm going to blame him for this as well, I'm going to lump him into this as well, have the Realism crew. The guys who scream unrealistic and don't, like, if they see the word realism, it has to be 100% perfect, despite what the game allows you to do. And, you know, I'm fine with that. I really am. But it's not possible to be 100% realistic in Farm Sim because of the limitations of the game. And the way the physics work. And, you know, so many different reasons. And I'd love for it to be more realistic. I really would. That's why I use the MR mod. But it's just not something the game can do at the moment. If you want something hyper-realistic, to the point that maybe it's to its own detriment, Cattle and Crops. I played a bit reasonably recently, and it's the world's slowest game because it's hyper-realistic. It's, you know, 100% realism. I like the idea of it, but oh boy, is that going to be fun to try and do a series on for YouTube. I mean, on the bright side here, we are getting a very nice looking field of silage done. I'm gonna start just call this silage instead of grass. I know that it's still grass and it's not silage until it's fermented, but we're preparing to harvest the silage. You know, we're preparing to get it off the field, get it into the bunker, get it fermenting. So it's, as far as I'm concerned, silage already. It's just not fully prepared yet. There we go. Just going to turn the windrower off because otherwise it'll shoot grass backwards and I don't want to do that. Easy. Windrower back on and down and away we go again. These fields are a lot bigger than they look. Like, you get into them, you're like, oh, this isn't too big, and then you start working on them, and, you know, half an hour later, you're still working the field because you've underestimated the size quite badly. And, you know, this is probably the most efficient way I can do this, is actually having the curves, because then it follows the contours of the field, and I'm turning less. So, yeah, this is, you know, taking a lot longer than I'd expected. I did expect it to take a little while. I expected it to take 15-20 minutes, not the better part of half an hour. And actually it's going to take a lot more to finish this field, because we're still kind of only, I guess we're at the longest windrow, so this is going to take the longest because we got the hill, we got the length. You know, so it might get a bit easier over that side of the field, but it is going to take a little while over here. Not that I'm complaining, it means I get to chill out with the windrower and some Spotify later, I guess. If I decide to do this off camera, I might not. I'm playing a lot off camera, I want to get some mapping done, I want to get some genuine off camera stuff done that's not in Farm Sim. I've got a couple of games that I was sent in the last day, well, this morning, to potentially try out and have on the channel. I'll have a look at both of them. One looks looked like a bit of a joke. I will be honest, I've already had a look at one of them, the Steam page. It looks like a joke, but I'll give it a download and give it a try. And the other I haven't even looked at yet. I just saw that I had an email saying, hey, we got a game for you. Do you want to try it? So it's going to be interesting. I wonder, at this point in the video, how many people are going to complain about the fact that I've got curves in my windrows? Because, oh, you never put curves in your windrows. I've seen plenty of videos in real life where grass windrows are curved. Because, fun fact, you don't really need to worry about pickups breaking with grass. I know that it's not best practice, but you can do this. I think tomorrow's video, I'm kind of planning in my head already, because I'm going to need to have some sort of plan in mind for tomorrow's video. I think tomorrow's video we're going to try the small bales. We're going to try the welger. We're going to get probably 20 or so small bales made and try them out with the Primos, see if it works. I'm genuinely curious if it'll work. Because if it does, we might be able to have a bit of fun with that and do some silliness. Especially if they work the way that I think they would. But that's gonna be a bit of fun. We get to crack out the little welger again. We get to play about with that. I get to play around with potentially breaking things, which is my favorite hobby. And it's something I'm not going to test off camera. I know some people, I've done this a couple of times, test stuff off camera, just make sure that it works the way that they want it to, and the way that they think it will. This is going to be one of those things where I'm experimenting doing something incredibly stupid that I don't think will work. And that I think will do something funny if it does work. Especially if it works in the way that I think it will. So it's going to be one of these videos where I intentionally don't do any testing beforehand and just launch in and do something stupid and see what happens. Because if it does work, then great, it works. I came up with something smart. If it doesn't, then something silly is probably going to happen, and that's going to be even better. Just want to make sure that I don't run over too much there. That's perfect. Swing it around for the next windrow. It should actually be near perfect for swath. Nope, a bit further to the left. There we go. Wow, this thing doesn't stick out far at all. I thought it stuck out a lot farther than it does. But that is going to do it for today, guys. I'm sure that some of you are sick and tired of seeing me doing grass work, but this does need to be done. I just want to get this field sorted out, get some silage done so we can start getting cows and start worrying about the animals properly. I do want to get some sheep as well. I'll probably get or use the Profi hopper for the sheep, because honestly that's what the Profi hopper is best at, is just feeding sheep, because it's got a nice smallish store for grass. It is a nice size and can mow places that most other equipment can't, and it's nimble. I know that it's slow, but it's nimble. It can turn on a dime. So I'll probably use a Profi hopper for the sheep, and I will be buying the animals at the animal buy point, and manually bringing them down to the yards and manually putting them in instead of just spawning them in at the yard themselves. I think that's gonna be a bit more fun. But that is going to do it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. If you got this far, thank you very much. I was going to say comment something, but I couldn't think of something to comment. So, until next time, stay safe, and goodbye.